People of the world, behold, this right here is the city that contains all of the evil that has ever existed and will ever exist. That is right, you guessed it, we are looking at Vienna. Our enemy, and I think in this video, our prime opponent, even in warfare, not just in, diplomacy and economics. We're taking a look at Austria because they are, of course, holding territory that should be rightfully ours. That is Lombardy, Venetia, South Tyrol, and of course, Istria as well. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, hey, that's pretty nifty right here. Serbia, Prussia, and Italy, we all want to go all in against the Austrians. But at the same time, I also looked around and I found that, well, the Ottomans, Austria, and Russia hate me. That is, of course, very, very bad. We are a democracy right now, the Roman Republic, under none other than Chancellor Giuseppe Mazzini, and I'm pretty positive about our future. It's just that diplomatically we will have to do something about this. But of course, the external stuff is never alone in itself. We are as pro-Italian as we are because we are now a democracy and have been for quite a number of years. And yet, it has to be said, despite not participating in these elections, and I actually really like this, the Roman Curia did not participate in the elections, which is really cute if you think about it, because this basically happened historically speaking. We're looking at a situation where Catholicism had its own ambitions, everything completely failed, and in the end they essentially said, well, at the very least, I would like to have a privileged, a very special position, and that is the position that they got in Italy and later as well in Germany. And again, I find that quite interesting because, well, they are basically saying no to our democratic system, and yet it has to be said as well, they were in government not too long ago. Now, I will tell you that we will stick to democracy for the time being, as mentioned, but there is something here that is a bit of a reform that might surprise you, and that is that currently we are in a position where the far left could not hold itself in power, at least not as a legitimate force, if we reformed the government. Now, under normal circumstances, I always reform the government. If somebody wants to join a party, I will reform even if it means losing power, but in this case, it would mean that Mazzini had to go. And I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that basically Mazzini has a supply and demand benefit situation going on in parliament. I'm not going to change government right here. The way I interpret this, since the armed forces want to join the far left but can't, is that basically Mazzini knows that there is a majority in parliament to shift towards a more religious angle. I mean, we can see it right here. This makes for a legitimate government. If I were to go again with the armed forces, yeah, it wouldn't really work out. So the way I will treat this is that he likes democracy, but he knows that currently democracy in Italy would just mean going back to theocracy. So instead, he doesn't engage with it. We will just, look at this result and say Giuseppe Mazzini counts that he can unify Italy, and we'll go from there. I'm honestly always very enthused when we have these sort of extreme results where nothing is clear in politics here in Victoria 3, because that is just the most engaging. But speaking of engaging, we are in a precarious position. We have friends in France, which is really good, but our economy is really, really awful. This is just what happens if you start as a tiny nation and then annex everybody instead of actually, well, building them up natively. What this leaves us with is a pretty well-developed economy in Sardinia, Piedmont, and basically nowhere else in this country. These minor nations always build a bit more than maybe they should, but it is what it is. I would like, in the next maybe 5 years, to go a bit harder on industrialization so that we can build up an industrial core. I would assume that this is also in basically the idea here of Mazzini, so that he can weaken the church. Again, he is not against the church, but he is against theocracy. Oh, and in the meantime, of course, the United States of America have finished their conquest westwards. Now, let me check here. There's a very easy way for them to get this territory, and that is basically if they are friendly with Britain, which they are, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see the historical US here. How are you doing, my friend, in terms of domestic policy? Okay, there you go. They still got it, and they're still going strong, but as you can see, there is a very, very strong opposition here. And let me just check. We got a positivist, an abolitionist, and John Brown. Very, very cool. Oh, that is a neat character right there. I'm very curious. Frederick Douglass is also actually agitating here. I think this conflict is going to come to a bit of an explosive end here, maybe even in this video, we'll see. We are in a really fascinatingly weak position when it comes to liberal politics here in Italy. We have an incredibly popular leader, an insanely popular leader here. Oh, actually, he's no longer as popular as he used to be, I guess. But anyway, what we're looking at is a situation where the power of the conservatives, and rather maybe even the reactionaries, isn't yet broken. I think what we're going to do is This goes a bit too far. Let's say we go for dedicated police force. Let's put the, basically the state violence monopoly in the hands of the urbanized petite bourgeoisie, rather than into the landowners that would rather we give power back to the Pope. Obviously, they're going to dislike this. Obviously, they're going to be very angry, but everybody else loves it. And I mean, that is just what matters. But oh yeah, here you go. They are pushing for theocracy. The old Pope is here trying to push for it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if Mazzini actually loses his position, if he's not capable of holding that power in this democracy, I'm gonna start enacting this, even if it leads to a civil war. Listen, we're not playing nicely here, the gloves are off. We are now pushing for an Italy that is either democratic in full, or that becomes a theocracy. We shall see. But think about it. I mean, this Pope would be lost forever. We wouldn't care about him. Nobody really would ever mention him again. It would be just this vague shaping of what happens in our country. And obviously, all of this is supported by the Pops. They're supporting these IGs. Then we got some Pops directly supporting this movement and so on. But it's nice to be able to put a face to this. Faustino Pennati di Momo here was kicked out. He was humiliated. But now he's back, and we shall see what exactly that means. I could encourage more madness here, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not really counting on another rebellion in Lombardy, Venice. Then again, you know what? No. I am counting on another rebellion. Let's push the envelope here when it comes to, motivating our people to be a bit angrier. Obviously, and this sucks a bit, we're gonna inherit this turmoil, so we'll see about this, okay? But for the time being, if they rebel again, it would be pretty nice for us. And oh my god, Giuseppe Garibaldi has left Mexico? Hello? Are you available? Oh my god, he is. But I can't invite him? I cannot invite him until 1857. Let's hope that he stays here. We need Garibaldi. I'm so happy that he's actually around. If he comes here, he would be another fighter for democracy because he's a radical. Maybe we can actually make something work here. And oh boy. I think the movement to return to theocracy just got a major hit. Faustino Pennati di Momo is dead. The Pope is gone. And he enjoyed a lot of benefits, in terms of how the public in Italy here saw him. But now that he's gone, I mean, look at that, yeah. The Roman Curia has just straight up left the movement to reenact theocracy. Maybe they're willing to compromise? Let me check. Are they going to join a party here? It's a bit annoying that they don't join parties, but nope. Even now, they don't seem motivated to actually join the party to begin with. Very interesting. And oh my god, something huge just happened. I even completely missed it. Look at that. Prussia declared war against Denmark and conquered Schleswig and then freed Holstein, which means Schleswig-Holstein is actually solved. The question is solved, which now makes it so that Prussia is going for Austria next. Maybe we just need to be ready. Currently, honestly, I'm not that confident in ourselves, just because we're so defensive. I barely built up any artillery, I barely built up any lancers, and I can't really do it right now, entirely based on the fact that I'm still industrializing. I'm building the very first railways now, but my god, we're going to see the Germans clash here fairly soon, and I really want to jump in. Whether that is directly, if Prussia were to invite me, or whether that was directly with me declaring my own war, either way, it would be the perfect period to attack Austria here, I think. Ooh, and well, things are looking chaotic here. We are preparing now. You can see I'm building up an army. We are actually going into a direction where we will have a bit of artillery, which is definitely needed. I'm also going to expand the lancers. I've expanded our tax capacity and so on and so forth. We got a great friend in France, and we're doing well. But my god, in the elections, we got the rule folk now actually coming out on top, which is really fascinating to me. I need to think about what kind of policies they would push through, and then completely fallen behind, at least by the current standard here, the intelligentsia. I'm not sure that he's going to lead our next government, but you know what? I can tell you one thing, and that is, Garibaldi, my beloved, come home. I will invite him, and if I could, which I sadly can't, I would also actually just immediately make him indeed a leader. But the trade unions are sadly marginalized, and that is where they're going to stay for the foreseeable future, so he's not really going to do all too much. But you know what? I'm going to make him a commander. Absolutely. If we need one person as our general, it's definitely him. Alright folks, and now we had the election. The Agrarian Party actually was underneath the right. Oh my god. The intelligentsia got demolished. I mean, there's really no other way of putting it. Now the big question is, what do we do with government formation? We could go ultra-conservative, but I don't think that this has the actual majority here. Instead, we might be looking at a temporary right-wing government here. I don't think this means theocracy. I do not think that the civic nobility currently really cares all that much about, going back to the Pope, but I do think that A, this makes the most sense, and I do think that B, we're gonna cancel this law. I'm sorry, but the people won the election, and these people do not care for dedicated police force. So yeah, we're gonna knock that right out. Beyond that, we might be looking towards poor laws here. We might be looking towards laissez-faire. That could be one of those laws that really makes sense if we say, hey, the Free Trade Party only really is in this coalition together with the right wing to push through some, economic reforms. Beyond this, I don't think... I mean, the industrialists actually care quite a bit about that. That's interesting. That is very interesting. We could... Oh, what a devious move. We're going to restrict the voting franchise. That is the smartest move that both of these could do together. And they're doing it, yeah. Wow. After the loss of the intelligentsia, this is exactly what will be coming. Oh, and that is... I love this. Listen, sometimes I think this game is really coming together nicely. I didn't even have it on the radar anymore. But we are in the period where we have unlocked Voice of the... Sorry, no. Springtime of the Peoples, which is the historical era from 1848 to 1849. And we haven't had it yet because we've been so incredibly liberal. And all of a sudden, we are no liberal anymore. We are going towards a decisively conservative approach under the leadership of Vincenzo Costa. The radical movement is becoming very widespread in the Roman Republic, whether we support or oppose them. This heralds a time of great change and reaction. I could support the conservative establishment, or I could support the radical movement. Oh my god, the radical movement would turn the rural folk from protectionists into radicals. Listen, gameplay-wise, currently, we are in a position where we are the conservatives, right? But being the sort of the spirit of the nation, rather than the nation itself, I find it a lot more interesting if we create a counterpoint to our very strong conservatives right now by turning Ugo Tola into a radical. Ugo Tola is a reformist. Look at this. He has endorsed protectionism. He has endorsed interventionism. We got both of these. Both of these were also something that the industrialists wanted. But now, the rural folks' alliance with them breaks. He says the liberties that we have are important and we should push them further. The fact that you're working with the civic nobility is unacceptable. The split that we have between the powerful, so the theocracy and the industrialists, and the non-powerful, so the liberals, is only becoming deeper. I will support the radical movement right here. We will pick up a whole lot more radicals, and we'll see what happens here, because that could also mean that we get toppled again in Risorgimento. Honestly, we'll see about this. This is pretty wild. Okay, and it seems as though our government has been toppled. This is a truly Italian playthrough, okay? A revolutionary for our time. A voice for the liberalism currently on the rise has resonated with the industrialists. I don't know what to make of this new style of politics. It seems tactless to make demands this recklessly. When one argues that the premises for what constitutes political tact are themselves flawed, a bit of tactlessness can help drive home the point. I could say no here. I could say, no, the industrialists, they will stay conservative, they will stay with the right-wing government here, but I'll be honest with you, they already have a reformer. Yes, they are working together with the right-wingers here because they care much more about having a stable coalition that doesn't go towards theocracy, but maybe restricting the voting franchise here ultimately is turning them, entirely around here. I'm gonna say it must be heard. We're gonna get Corrado Troisi, he's a hedonist and a political operator, and now we're gonna reevaluate our government, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. I think we're kicking out the right wing, and we're taking the entire far left back into government, and we are immediately halting, quite frankly. Yep, we're halting this right away. Wow, they broke. The right-wing coalition broke. Now let me ask you, are we done here? Oh, we are. Oh, and now it's getting intense. The revolution victorious. Corrado Troisi and the industrialists have proven that the goals of the radical movement are achievable in Rome in the Roman Republic. This is something that has been brewing for a while. We're incredibly liberal after we collapsed out of the papal states, but I think for me this cements it. The radical forces have won. Democracy and republic are vital parts of the Italian spirit. And we're gonna go with exactly this. The Troisi cabinet will bring greater liberties yet, or our people are our strength. Oh, I like this a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna take those loyalists. Holy moly, that halved us. Thank you so much. That was very nice. What are you doing? Oh, they have a secession. I thought they were going in against Austria for some reason, but okay, they didn't. Anyway, listen, we are back. A radical government. For me, this is now established. Yes, we have low legitimacy, but we are looking at exactly this. A radical, powerful government. Now, the big question is, where do we go from here? We had a back and forth. We tried to do some reforms. They always failed. Obviously, oh my god. We haven't invented it, but they would really like to do that, huh? Maybe we're gonna go with the right of assembly here. I think we will. Oh, the armed forces don't like that, huh? You know what? Yeah. Let's liberalize the voting franchise after they try to curtail it. Let's make sure that every man has a voice. And with that, of course, the democracy staying around. It's been such a wild, semi-schizophrenic run, but it really feels like that fits what the Roman Republic is right now. We really aren't all that industrialized, if you really look at it. You can see we have a ton of peasants here who aren't politically active, who don't really say all that much, and because of that, most of the power lies with the clergymen, the aristocrats, and the capitals. I love that it's like perfectly depicted right here. Yeah, the way I would describe this is that we are a state that has absorbed so many other parts of Italy, and yet we aren't Italy yet, so we had this huge struggle between the power holders and those that want to be free, and it's over now. I would definitely say, firmly say, since the Pope is dead, since the Roman Curia is pretty happy with democracy, we're not going back. This is it. And oh boy, the leader of the trade unionists has just retired, and now General Giuseppe Garibaldi is actually in charge of them. I'm not sure that he's going to do anything with it because, well, the trade unions never really grow powerful until relatively late in this game right now, so maybe he's a bit of a waste here, but it's nice to have him. And we have now reached a point where the 10-year guarantee of France helping us because of the alliance is actually up. It's 1861 and we haven't acted yet. A lot has happened. We passed the universal suffrage law. We've really actually fixed our economy in a pretty good light. I'm very happy about this. But we can't really attack Austria because they have this alliance with Russia. I was hoping Prussia would go in, but I'm pretty sure that they're just as cautious as we are because of this alliance. Once we finish these buildings that I have in the queue, I think maybe I'm just gonna do it right now. I think we're just gonna declare, right? We can go obviously with rail transport. We can do first aid now, and I think we definitely should be doing this. But if I mobilize everybody, if I have the full forces, I can at best defend. Maybe together with France. Man, that is a rough one. I think we're gonna try and sit it out for the next election. If we see the intelligentsia and co rise to the cream here, to the top, I mean, I think we might just declare. Even if it's not a very likely war, I think we might just declare. And oh my god, the race for Africa here is very clearly already opened. We have Britain now, not just claiming the entire coastline. They've been very dedicatedly doing this. No. They are turning Sokoto into protectorate. The biggest, the most powerful, the most important nation in all of Africa. Gonna be a protectorate for Britain here, huh? Yeah, that's pretty damn hefty, I gotta tell you, because we will have to come in, of course, eventually as well after our national question is solved, but right now, Britain is just dominating. Okay, wow. Universal suffrage really completely eviscerated everybody else. This means I think the armed forces and the far left are very likely to rule once this election is over. Let's see where that goes. And here we go. The Republic of San Marco 2.0 is upon us. They have rebelled again. Under the leadership of General Julio Santa Croce Villahermosa, definitely not how you pronounce that. And of course, they stand for us and us for them. It's time. This is the moment we've been waiting for. It's 1862. It's taken us so long. And we probably can't actually get France into this war because, well, entirely based on the fact that France is our ally, not San Marcos. Okay, before we mobilize, let's just quickly take a look at this. I do really like formation travel speed and railway mobilization speed. Mobilization speed is nice, but we don't really need it unless it also improves the recruitment speed, which it doesn't. So this doesn't really do much for us. There's no long distance that we need to bridge here. I'm going to mobilize this, and I'm going to raise all conscripts. This is it. This is the fight for everything. Oh my god. Oh, and San Marco wants to join a customs union. I'm not sure if they are in my customs union when we are at war here. Can they get annexed by me? Because, man, that might actually just win this war for free for us here. I will obviously accept them joining our customs union. We're big friends. We're going to get this done. Let's mobilize. And Russia. Russia sided with Austria. Okay. Okay. There are so many Austrian troops here, but right now it seems as though we have the edge very slightly. Maybe they're going to mobilize more. That is a question that I can't answer right now. Obviously, more people have arrived. We are now in... we are the underdog again. Well, that's not a big surprise here to begin with. I think what we're going to do here is we're gonna put just Garibaldi to be advancing, because he's actually a very good advancer. He has orderly advance, which is really good, and should bind them. You can see here as well that this gives us a boost, a massive boost to offense. Are any of you really good at defending? I think you're all just normal defend the front, right? Yeah, we don't actually have anybody that is really good at just being defensive. Do they... What are you... Oh, both of you are attacking. Are you insane? Okay, let's see how this goes. I think we're gonna lose again. I'm gonna lose my mind if we will. My god. Okay, first battle has started. We are defending this well. General Felice Mossi here is doing well. He's succeeding. He's thriving. We're thriving here as well, but that is a massive difference. Of course, now here they're actually using the offensive units, as you can see. Yeah, the Russian Lancers have arrived and they're navally invading me. You are insane! Alright, time to get an army here, to split an army off just to defend against this. And then again, wait a minute. I don't need to put an army there. I can just put my navy here. Oh my god. We can actually just position our navy. We have a bigger navy than them. Surely, this couldn't go wrong, right? And oh my god, Garibaldi actually left us. Because he went to San Marco. You're so joking. Buddy, why are you joking? God damn it. Okay. We got a new commander now. It is what it is. Oh, we've actually caught them. We have actually challenged them here. Now, I'm not sure. Do I need anybody defending? Or, like, does this hold the advance anyway if we have an ongoing naval battle here? We are winning the sea war here. Very nice. Alright, and the election results are in. We're now gonna have a radical pan-Italian government right here. If this isn't beautiful, then I don't know what is. Remember, Ugo Tola was earlier turned into a radical. He now understands democracy and he understands Italy. Whew, and we are going all in. Now, let me take a look at this. We can govern without the left, and honestly, we should. I'm sorry, I really, really like the armed forces. They've been, you know, just dilly-dallying. They've been going left, right, all the entire time. It's fun to watch, but this is a time of makers, okay? This really is exactly what has to go on now. We might even want to reform into this, but honestly not during the war. We just cannot do it during the war. What I would like to do, if we can appeal to the, you know, very nice nature of the armed forces, if we can, I would like to pass something that they like so that indeed we can actually move on and get their approval. Oh, dedicated police force after everything. You know what? Let's do it. Screw the landowners. Their time is over. We are winning these battles right here. We are holding. It is actually being done. Despite all the Russians, despite all these people being here, man, I don't know though. Can we last the entire time? We do have less manpower. That is a huge question here. And yeah, look at that. We are crushing them here in the naval battle, making sure that we have supremacy in the Adriatic and of course here in the Western Mediterranean, and making sure that we can't actually be navally invaded. We're doing well here. And oh my god, they're actually pushing in. They are pushing into South Tyrol. If we could take that, listen, I wouldn't say no to it. I'm not sure whether they can win it though. I assume, yep, they are mostly borrowing my units and it's all this artillery. Like I said last video, that is how they selected currently. And yeah, I did hear as well, by the way, that in the future, if a vassal of yours or an ally of yours attacks, they cannot borrow your troops unless you're also on the offensive. So that is good. Right now we're happy with this, but yeah, it's a good thing. These guys are actually such nerds. Gaetano Fara has challenged Enrico Toesca. Enrico has been here since the very first independence war for San Marco. They want a duel. I'm sorry. This is over. We will be banning dueling. Suck it, okay? And oh my god, they are even pushing into Istria again, entirely with our troops. And my god, keep it up. I am very proud of you. If we take Istria, even a single battle in Istria, I should say, we can capitulate Austria. We could actually take the whole thing just in this war because our army is holding. Unbelievable. Oh my god, it is actually happening. It is actually happening. We have taken a part of Istria, we've taken a part of Styria. Currently only 1%, but another battle is being won. This is ours. And then at the same time, we are defending. And by God, look at these numbers. We are demolishing them. And I don't even, by the way, have shrapnel artillery. I only have mobile artillery. But man, it's tearing them apart. We're going to come out a whole nation. Unbelievable. And what you can really see here, and I think this is very, very important to understand, no matter how you play this game and no matter what the balancing is. We are reinforcing our troops because we have higher technology, we have better mobilization options, kind of cheating, but listen, we just want to show it off, than the technologically less advanced Austria, or more importantly even Russia. They literally cannot enforce their troops. You can see this right here. They have 171 brigades and they're down to 113,000. We have 154 and we're down to 107,000. We are closing the gap right there. On top of that, if you look at the actual troop count right here, you will see it right there. This is the strength bar, how many troops are present in this and how many should be present. We have whittled them down to half of what they ought to be. It's incredible. I'm really enjoying that for sure. And you know what? We passed dedicated police force. Let's finish this off. It will make the civic nobility angry, but they have stood in the way. They have achieved nothing. This republic is our work. And this is something that everybody in government really loves, so we might as well. And you know what they say? They say it is Joba. We have won. San Marco is free. We are free. We took Istria, we took South Tyrol, and we fought for it as a nation, more unified than ever before. We now have universal suffrage, we are a cemented republic, and finally, I think at the very least, once they flip, which they should do any minute now, there they go, we are going to unify Italy. Well, that is a really ugly event, I'll tell you that. Roman Republic has emerged as a rising power in Italy. I mean, yes. We gain national unifier and we get a claim on Savoy because we sold it and they didn't actually aid us in this. A glorious union. The Roman Republic has become Italy. Risorgimento. Under the heroic leadership of Chancellor Ugo Tola, the Italian nation has been birthed into the world. Unified under a common banner, Italy will surely shape the future of Europe and the world. Viva Italia. Or, this is for 9 years, that's pretty good. We could say the rule folk are our heroes. And quite frankly, they are heroes. They are the ones that turned it around. They voted. They came out in droves when the intelligentsia failed. I'm gonna say, obviously, Giuseppe Mazzini. I'm gonna say, obviously, our good friend Garibaldi, although he left for San Marco. Whatever. And obviously, the rule folk right here. We will never forget our brave rule folk. And now let me ask you something. Is Garibaldi out there? Yes, he is. Come back home, buddy. What was that? He just left for no reason. Welcome back. The Roman Republic has formed Italy. I'll leave it right here. Obviously, we're now out for blood. We are now out here to establish our own empire, to make sure that maybe, you know, depending on how it goes with France here, maybe depending on how it goes with Russia and so on, the Ottomans, we want to carve out our own spot in the sunlight now. But that is something for the future. We have become a republic that is fully Italian. I will see you later. Alligator.